So, here's the reality. You don't need the meta to feel powerful in Warframe this year. You just need the right ideas, a few smart augments, and builds that feel good to play for a long session. Today we're going through 9 non-meta builds that are fun, fresh, and strong enough for Steel Path. I won't just tell you what to equip. I'll first tell you why each build is worth your time. Then I'll share how to run it so you can jump in right after this video. Let's start with Site-09 and Nell Prime. The reason to try this is simple. You get to play your own quiet shooting gallery while the map tries and fails to notice you. Site-09 keeps you invisible with very high uptime, so you can set your pace and pick your shots. That pairs perfectly with Nell Prime because headshots keep the buff going, and once it starts, it feels like the pistol never stops. It turns survival into a relaxing rhythm game. You slide, you line up heads, you keep the chain alive, and the flow is smooth. It's also a great way to practice weak point aim without stress, and it brings back that old school one tap, one drop feeling that made many of us fall in love with this game. To run it, push duration first so your invis stays up. Add enough strength to keep the loop stable, and a bit of range only if you need comfort. On Nell Prime, go crit chance, crit damage, and multi-shot. If you like precision, use secondary acuity or deadhead. If you want more room clear, go viral plus multi-shot and let the chain do the work. Keep your movement light. Use short hops and slides to keep angles clean. If enemies are fidgety, bring a small grouping option from Helminth or a simple operator lockdown to park them. The loop is easy. Stay unseen, click heads, refresh the buff, and let the gun sing. Next is Nyx, and yes, she deserves another look this year. The reason to try her now is that she feels modern and smooth. She controls rooms without fuss, strips defenses on demand, and turns enemy fire into a pop that clears space. You get great value in tight tiles and open missions alike. You press a button, they fight each other, you press another, their armor is gone, and you finish the job with whatever weapon you like. It's simple, it's safe, and it's satisfying. If you left Nyx years ago, this is not the same clunky frame you remember. To run Nyx, lean into range so your crowd control reaches the whole room. Add enough strength to full strip with psychic bolts and keep a decent amount of duration. Your flow is clear. Open with chaos to make enemies hurt each other. Tag heavies with bolts so they melt faster. Use absorb when shots stack up, then release it for a burst that gives you breathing room. Pair her with a status primer or a high crit rifle, and you'll see how fast rooms deflate. She is calm, controlled power, and that can be a nice break from spammy area of effect play. By the way, if you're into off-meta builds like these, please hit like and subscribe. It tells me to make more guides like this and helps the channel a lot. Thanks for the support. Caliban is next, and this one is pure grin fuel. The reason to try Caliban now is the wild synergy between his spin and his sentient buddies. With the Razor Mortar augment, your little army stops being decoration and starts acting like real artillery. You spin, you gather, they bomb the pile, and then you press 4 and everything's stripped and ready to fall over. It feels different from the usual point-and-click nukes. There's motion, timing, and the fun of watching your summons actually do work. If you enjoy fast loops with big payoffs, you'll love it. To run Caliban, set up Lethal Progeny so your minions are active. Build for good strength and duration so your kit holds together. Tap Razor Gyre to pull enemies into a neat bundle. Drop Fusion Strike through the pile to strip armor and shields. Let Razor Mortar do its thing while you clean up with a rifle or a melee slash. If you want bigger bursts, slot in Roar. If you want comfort, slot in Nourish for energy and viral. You can even keep range modest because you are pulling into tight stacks anyway. Caliban also has a shiny future with his prime on the horizon, so it's a good time to learn this style. Dagoth is your no-drama caster pick. The reason to try her is the clean 2-button loop that hits way harder than it looks. You mark with Doom, then you call in cavalry. Groups vanish. You move forward and do it again. There is no heavy buff maintenance. There is no weird setup that breaks if you sneeze. It's a tidy, repeatable pattern that lets you focus on movement and spawn flow. It's also very friendly to newer players who want power without juggling 5 elements. To run Dagoth, stack strength so Doom multiplies damage well, and keep decent duration so your marks last. Use cavalry right after Doom while enemies are clustered. Keep Grave Spirit handy as a safety net and a damage boost. If you want even smoother packs, you can add a light grouping skill from Helminth, but it's not required. Aim down lanes, mark cast, walk forward, repeat. It shines in exterminate, survival lanes, and many defense tiles where enemies stream through a choke. Corvex is the infinite lasers frame when you set him up right. The reason to try him is that the beam playstyle feels amazing once your economy loop clicks. With the right augment for Crucible and an arcane that feeds universal orbs off radiation-affected enemies, the beam keeps paying for itself. You hold the line, sweep the lane, and everything explodes in a chain. It rewards clean lanes, smart positioning, and target priority. If you like steady pressure more than burst spam, this is your jam. To run Corvex, place pillars and walls to shape the fight. Build strength and duration so your pulses and guard feel solid. Give yourself enough range to tag big groups. Start the beam and sweep through the herd. Each kill feeds your orbs, which feeds your energy, which keeps the beam up. You can pair this with an energy shard or a comfort arcane if you want belt and suspenders security, but the loop is strong once you get density. Keep moving, use cover, and let the beam do the heavy lifting. Sevagoth brings one of the best modern nuke loops that still feels great to pilot. The reason to try Sevagoth now is the flow. You seed enemies, you pop them, and the death spreads the seed to the next pack. It never gets old to watch rooms collapse in a wave. You also get great side value from his shadow and augments that add crit support when you want to weave in gunplay. It's a true 2 casts and done setup in many tiles, and it scales with strength in a very clean way. To run Sevagoth, build for strength and range. Start with Sow to mark the group. Tap Reap to detonate and send the curse forward. Use the Augment to help the spread chain farther, and use the Crit Support Augment if you want your weapons to ride the wave. If you prefer comfort, keep Gloom for control and healing. If you want bigger numbers, replace it with a damage buff. You'll get the hang of the tempo fast. Prime, pop, move, repeat. The room goes quiet, and you are already at the next door. Nidus is my favorite modern loot farmer for chill sessions. The reason to try him is that he makes the old Orgaze trick easy and safe. You bring Petrify through Helminth, stack plenty of strength, and hit the loot chance you need on petrified enemies. Nidus can stack strength without breaking because his kit scales well and he does not rely on brittle buffs. You get crowd control, tankiness, and extra drops in one package. If you like long survivals and piles of resources, this is a sweet spot. To run Nidus, subsume Atlas's Petrify and aim for very high strength. Use Umbral mods, Intensify, Molt-Augmented, Crimson Shards, and Parasitic Link for even more. If you can, use the Nautilus Sentinel with the Cordon mod precept to group enemies. After that, Petrify the clump, then clear them with your favorite weapon or your Virulence loop. Keep your stacks healthy, and you will be very hard to kill. The rhythm is cozy. Group, stone, loot, repeat. It's a great way to farm without sweating a timer or fussy rotations. Moving on, Volt with Thalas is a fresh spin to win that feels fast and loud. The reason to try it is the way his electricity turns that melee into a lane-clearing pinball. Shock Trooper adds electricity to your melee, which triggers that melee arcane on Thalas, and everything starts bouncing. Add Wrathful Advance from Helminth to feed red crits on demand, and you are carving paths through rooms in seconds. It's a movement build at heart. You are never stuck in place. You are sprinting, sliding, and erasing groups as you pass. To run Volt here, build high strength and duration so Shock Trooper sticks and hits hard. On Thalas, stack range, speed, damage, and enough status to keep the chain rolling. Keep Electric Shield in your pocket if you need a safe lane or want to buff gunshots between spins. Tap Wrathful Advance when you want heavy red crit hits. The fun of this setup is pace. You are always moving. You aim your arcs with your pathing. It's a perfect build for fast exterminate runs and wide survival tiles where you want to keep the life support flowing without stopping. Temple with a Kuva Ogress gives you the Heat Inherit fireworks show. The reason to try this is that it turns a simple combo into giant numbers with little effort. Temple boosts heat damage for the squad with Ripper's Wail. Your Sentinel primes enemies with heat first. Heat Inherit makes your Ogress heat build hit much harder once those first heat procs are on the target. You end up with big blasts that keep ticking for huge damage. It's a clean lane clearer that feels great on choke points. To run this right, keep Temple's buff up and play like a mobile weapons platform. Bring a Diriga or another solid Sentinel and mod its gun for heat, multi-shot, and fire rate. Use the duplex bond so it clones and spreads that first heat status more often. Build your Kuva Ogress for heat focus and blast radius, then aim for groups your companion has already tagged. You shoot once and watch the damage climb as the heat stacks do their work. It is easy to learn and strong on defense maps, tunnels, and narrow corridors. Let me give you a few quick flow tips to tie these together. Survival maps love density, so Site09's invisible headshot loop shines because you control the pace and keep the gun rolling. Corvex loves long lanes because his beam rewards clean sweeps. Nidus shines in long sessions where your strength stacks and your loot pile up. Caliban likes tight tiles where his pull, strip, and mortar turn corners into traps. Dagath loves clear lines where Doom and Cavalry can hit everyone. Sevagoth likes clustered spawns because his wave travels forward and keeps going. Volt's spin works best on maps with room to move. Temple plus Ogress likes funnels where enemies stack and burn. If you match the build to the tile, you will feel the difference right away. You might be thinking about famous versions of these, and that can help you tune your choices. The Site09 and Canal flow will feel familiar if you loved classic Invis headshot play with Avara or Ashe. Nyx now plays closer to old Chaos Room memes, but she strips fast enough to keep up with modern content. Caliban gives you a spin style that actually does something while spinning, unlike old meme setups. Dagath scratches the same itch as simple Saren Room clears, but with a calmer 2-cast loop. Corvex plays like a beam Ember fantasy, but the explosions feel chunkier. Sevagoth is still the king of seed and pop, and his augments make the spread cleaner. Nidus brings back that Atlas loot feeling, but does it with way more safety. Volt and Thalas feel like if old spin builds had better map travel and a red crit button. Temple and Ogress give you the old primer and launcher joy without juggling 5 elements. These nods can help if you're coming back after a break and want quick mental models. Now let's touch on modding themes without diving into long spreadsheets. When in doubt, build for the thing that makes the build special. For Site09, it's duration and precision on Nell. For Nyx, it's range and quick strip. For Caliban, it's strength and the Razor Mortar augment doing work while Fusion Strike strips. For Dagath, it's strength and duration to keep the mark up so Cavalry lands. For Corvex, it's beam uptime with strength and the energy loop that keeps it going. For Sevagoth, it's strength and range so your soda pop chain reaches the next spawn. For Nidus, it's raw strength to hit your loot mark while keeping control. For Volt, it's power for Shock Trooper and enough melee range to turn your spins into map-wide arcs. For Temple, it's heat uptime, a good primer on the companion, and a strong Ogress heat build. If you want a quick starter path for each, here's how I'd approach a first run. Take Site09 into a Steel Path survival on a tile you know well. Bring Nell Prime with a comfy headshot sight, like a clean reticle element you like. Try Nyx on Corpus ship tiles to feel the difference when enemies shoot each other and then lose their shields on command. Bring Caliban to Grenier tiles with tight corridors and watch how piles vanish after a pull and a strip. Use Dagath on open lanes in Exterminate and learn the Doom to Cavalry timing. Take Corvex to a long hallway map and practice sweeping the beam in a calm, steady line. Play Sevagoth on any map with natural clumps. Seed, pop, and listen to how quiet it gets. For Nidus, pick a resource you want and settle into a long survival where your stacks grow and your loot falls like rain. For Volt and Thalis, pick a fast mission and aim to finish before your favorite song hits the chorus. For Temple and Ogress, choose a defense or interception map where enemies file in and let the heat inherit do its thing. One more note about mindset. These builds are strong, but the real point is how they feel. You will not need a spreadsheet to enjoy them. You will not need a macro to keep them going. They each have a clear loop you can hold in your head. Invisible aim, room control, spin and strip, mark and charge, beam and sweep, seed and pop, group and stone, shock and spin, prime and blast. When you keep the loop simple, you can stay in flow longer, and that is where Warframe shines. The hours slip by, the runs stack up, and you end the session happy. Before we close, here's how I'd choose if you only have time to build one today. If you love precision and chill, start with Sight 9 and Nell. If you want calm control with fast strips, pick Nyx. If you want a goofy active loop that still hits hard, go Caliban. If you want clean caster power, go Dagoth. If you like steady pressure and map lanes, try Corvex. If you want fast nukes that chain forward, do Sevagoth. If you want loot and comfort, pick Nidus. If you crave speed and motion, take Volt and Thalas. If you want big blasts with simple setup, run Temple and Ogress. Any one of these will change how the game feels this week. That's the list, and I hope it opens up new ways to enjoy the game. If you try any of these, tell me which one clicked and what mission you ran first. I read the comments and pull your best ideas into future videos, so your notes help everyone. If this guide helped, please like the video and subscribe so you don't miss the next round of non-meta fun. I appreciate you being here. Now pick one build, load in, and have a great run.